I'm sure you've all heard of the word faithfulness, but do you truly know what it means? Don't worry, we'll share what we have learned about faithfulness. Let's get started.
1. What is faithfulness to us, to the world, and in the Bible?
In my opinion, the word faithfulness is being loyal to someone or something. I could be loyal to a friend, or to my family, or even to a promise. To my understanding, faithfulness and faithful have different implications. The act of being faithful is faithfulness, whereas people who are faithful are followers of a religion or a cause. The Bible has provided multiple examples of faithfulness during my group discussion, and it has encouraged me.
When approached with the question, I immediately think of using one company's products or staying loyal to a husband or wife. But when I think a little deeper, it can stretch as far as believing without seeing, and acting solely on the knowledge that someone is trustworthy or dependable. In our case, God. The common definition on Google defines it as the quality of being faithful, fidelity. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says, "Now faith is a confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." This is rather similar to the Google definition. However, the Bible definition also relates faithfulness to being a step beyond believing without seeing. The ability to blindly follow without the fear of repercussions, no matter the circumstance. Faith leads to faithfulness and living in accord to the faith. Here is a video clip I found online that I thought was quite relevant to the topic of faithfulness.
Faithfulness is an interesting word because it means both trusting God, I'm faithful, I believe that God is true and God is right and God's dependable, but it also means I'm now active, being and doing what I'm supposed to do in the light of that faith, and so I'm a faithful servant. And faithfulness in the Christian context and Christian understanding is not just holding to what we have been given by God, it's also making something of it. If we think of the parable of the talents, the master chides the third person who kept everything he was given. His bag of money is completely intact. He hasn't lost one dime of it. And the master said, but you were unfaithful. You didn't do something with it. He said, well, I'm perfectly faithful. I kept everything you gave me. No, you're supposed to accomplish something. And the language, I read all the time in Christian literature, we're not supposed to worry about effectiveness. We're supposed to just be faithful. That's unbiblical. Faithfulness means effectiveness as well as being true to the principles. It is working out those principles to get something done.
What are some examples of faithfulness shown in the Bible? The story of Abraham in the Bible serves as an example of faithfulness. Abraham and Sarah struggled to trust God. However, once they did, they saw the value of faithfulness, and Sarah was able to bear a child, despite being far past the childbearing age. Another example will be in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16 to 17, where Ruth and Orpah get married to Naomi's two sons. After a decade, the women were left alone in the world when their husbands passed away. Naomi tells both Orpah and Ruth to return back to their mothers. Orpah does so, but Ruth, refusing to leave, instead clung to her. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die. There will I be buried, said Ruth.
Ways to show faithfulness in our everyday lives. Waiting patiently for our prayers to be answered is a way to show faithfulness, as God does not attend to our prayers immediately. And to be faithful is to trust that one day God will send a message to you regarding your prayer. Number 2, not straying from our Almighty God. Even when times are bad, we should have faith in God and not turn to other religions, earthly riches or lusts or magic, as all those mentioned will ruin our relationship and faithfulness in God.
4. What is the outcome of faithfulness and why we act in accord to the faith? While faithfulness builds relationships, families and strengthens marriages, and this is shown in the Bible in Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the matter of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as ye see the day approaching. Another advantage that comes to mind is that faithfulness gives a clear conscience. The belief that God works in ways you cannot yet understand. You know that I have not hesitated to preach anything that would be helpful to you, but have taught you publicly and from house to house. Acts 20 verse 20.
In conclusion, the purpose of faith is to believe, trust, and allow God to come into your life and take control. In 1 Peter 1 verse 7, it described the faith that a person might have as being more precious than gold. This shows that whatever we hope to accomplish in life, nothing is as important as our faith in Him. Faith provides us stability and helps us understand things. Altogether, it brings us healing, prosperity, love, joy, and peace, which all guards and protects us during hardships or fears that we may face in life. 2 Timothy 4 verse 7 says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. At the very end of the day, if we keep our faith, we will receive a reward, and that is the crown of righteousness.
I hope you've learned something about faithfulness today, and thank you very much for listening.